Have you, like me, faced the eternal unsolved problem after a long working day? Well, I'm going to cook for dinner tonight. And then you just take a picture of the ingredients you have in the kitchen and see what AI suggests. Problem solved. Pretty useful, right? But how can AI look at an image, understand what is in it, understand what I'm asking, and answer my question? And more importantly, how can developers build experiences like this? And that's not all. How AI is able to also generate images or even videos from your ideas. If you are wondering that, you are in the right place. Hi, I'm Sarah Alali, a senior technical trainer at Microsoft, specializing in AI, Copilot, and building intelligent and secure applications on Microsoft Azure. I have a PhD in computer science and 12 years teaching training experience. This course covers 12 sessions, where we will dive into core AI concepts in Azure and learn how to turn ideas into real application using modern tools like Microsoft Foundry. In session number 10, we will cover how to get started with computer vision in Azure. I will walk you through multimodal models, AI models that can work with both images and text together, and how they are used in Azure to both understand and create visual content. Have you ever wished you could just show an image to an AI and ask a question about it like you would ask a person? For example, imagine you upload a photo of a product and ask, "What is this product? And what features does it have?" That's exactly what multimodal models enable. What does multimodal mean? The word multimodal simply means more than one input. Instead of working with just text, these models can work with text and images together, and sometimes even more like audio or video. The most common combination you will see are from text and the image, you get a text response. And also from an image, you get text description. Let's make this very concrete. Imagine a support agent receives a screenshot from a customer showing an error message. Instead of asking the customer to describe it, the system can analyze the image and answer. This is a login error. The issue is incorrect credentials. That's exactly multimodal AI in action. Now, when you see the code for multimodal models, don't focus on syntax. Focus on the flow. At a high level, three things happen. First, the image is prepared so it can be sent to the model. This can happen in two ways, using either a URL or encoding the image as base64 data like the code on the slide. Base64 simply means converting the image into a text format that the API can send. Next, we create a prompt that includes multiple parts. This is important. Instead of just sending text, the prompt contains a text instruction and the image itself. In the example on the slide, we are asking, "What dessert can I make with this?" This is what we call structured prompt. Finally, the model processes both input together. It doesn't look at the image separately from the text. It combines them both. It understands what is in the image, what the question is asking, and how to generate a meaningful answer. This is the key power of multimodal models. This capability is used in many real scenarios. Customer support actually analyzes screenshots. E-commerce can describe product images automatically. And logistics can inspect package images and identify issues maybe. Document processing can actually read charts, diagrams, or scanned content. Instead of forcing everything into text, the model works with the data in its natural form. Now that we have seen how AI can understand images in Azure, let's look at the other side, how AI can generate images and videos. In Azure, this is made easy through something called the Foundry Model Catalog. Think of the Foundry Model Catalog as a central marketplace for AI models. It brings together multiple providers, multiple capabilities, and multiple types of AI models. Instead of building models yourself, you simply choose the one that fits your need. The easiest way to navigate this catalog is by thinking in terms of tasks, not models. For example, you don't search for model name first. You ask, what am I trying to do? If your goal is to generate an image, you search for text-to-image models. If your goal is to generate a video, you search for video generation models. This task-based approach makes it much easier to get started. Okay, let's start with image generation. Imagine a marketing team needs visual for a campaign. Instead of searching for stock photos, they type modern co-working space with people collaborating and using laptops. An image is generated instantly. These capabilities are powered by models, for example, like GPT image, which takes a text description and generates a matching image. Now let's take it one step further. Instead of single image, imagine generating a short video. For example, a person opening a package and smiling recorded like a social media ad. This is where video generation models come in. They extend the same idea, but over time generating multiple frames that form a video. Now, an important question, how do you choose the right model? The answer depends on three main factors. First, the task. Are you generating an image, video, or editing content? Second, the quality. Do you need a quick draft or high-quality visual for production? And third, the cost and latency. Higher quality often means more processing time and cost. For example, a quick prototype may prioritize speed. A marketing campaign may prioritize quality. Think of it like choosing a camera. Sometimes you use your phone for quick photos. Sometimes you use a professional camera for high-quality shots. The same idea applies to choosing an AI model. And the Foundry model catalogs make it easier to discover models, filter them by task, and choose the one that fits your scenario. All right, now let's do a quick exercise where we get started with computer vision in Microsoft Foundry. In this exercise, we will use models in Microsoft Foundry to analyze images, generate videos also. You can also practice this exercise in your own environment by accessing the lab steps in the link that you can see on the screen, or by visiting the AI-901 learning path through the Microsoft Learn platform. Let's go. In this exercise, we are going to use generative AI models in Microsoft Foundry to work with visual data. So everything we start as usual with the Microsoft Foundry project to choose the right model. So to make everything ready for our exercise. So we already created the project previously, and we also be able to look into how to build a model from build, and then we see that already have a GPT 4.1 mini model that is already deployed and created, and I have others. If I want to select one or look for one, I can go for Discover, I look to models, and then search the model that interests me, either from selecting it from the collections or capabilities, or maybe from the interface, interference tasks, or fine-tuning model. Or I can simply search it out with the name, like GPT, and then I select the model that I want to create it. But from now, let's get back to build, to models, and just select the model that we are going to do the demo with, which is the GPT 4.1 mini. So first thing we are going to do, I'm going to try out simple things with configuring the agent, for example, starting by providing instruction. Here we are saying you are an AI cooking assistant who helps chefs with recipes. We can provide tools if we need tools. And we start using it by providing the right informations. We could also provide like knowledge, maybe a recipe books or other things. Also, we can configure the parameters. We already talked about this in previous videos. So we put it ready for whatever the task that we are going to do. First thing, I'm going to attach a file. I'm going to attach image in here to ask question about recipes. I'm going to upload an image of a fruit, and I'm going to ask it, for example, what I can cook with this. So I put an image of a banana here. I'm going to ask it what possibly could be a recipe that I can use this in, which is the banana. And here's providing me different recipes. I can see here banana smoothie, banana bread, banana pancake, banana oatmeal. So we have different recipes that we can probably think putting them or cooking them. I can also try out with another image. So I'm going to grab an image of an apple. And I'm going to ask here, how should I cook this? So first thing, I'm going to recognize which image in there and saying this is a green apple. And here's giving me different recipes for a green apple. So several ways to cook it: baked apple, apple pie, apple sauce, and so on. Different recipes I can do with. If we look into the code part, so here let's get interested, looks into the code part. As usual, so we have the API that we can choose. So we have two types of APIs, the completion, the response API. In previous video, we talked about the difference between these two. One is like new one is partly used in different tools. So if we look for the completion, so for example, we have here, we put the model, we put the message, and in the message, we need the rule and the content. And here the method is, yes, client chat completion dot create to possibly call that API. If we go rather for the API response, so you can see here for the API response, the information that we could possibly put in within this method. So we put the model with deployment name and the input. We ask like our prompt, for example, here, what is the capital of France? But probably we're going to ask about recipes. And the method is client response create, like we have just seen. Also, we could possibly select the language. So we have Python, the SDK, and also configure the authentication method. So we get our code ready. So if you prefer, for example, Java, you can go for Java. C#, you go for C#. If you use JavaScript, you can go for JavaScript. So whatever programming language that you are more comfortable with, you can go with. And if you prefer to do REST API call, so you can select REST API call rather than using the SDK. And authentication, so you can there configure the authentication, either intro ID, or maybe you can stay with using the key, the API key that we have seen in previous session, how to actually get it from your Foundry portal. Now let's focus a little bit on the code part to see what are first the libraries that we use. So we need from OpenAI and also from Azure Identity. So the one for Azure Identity to get the credentials, to get the token. Here we are using the intro ID connection. We need to provide also the endpoint of our Foundry. Our Foundry, we need to put the deployment name, also really important. And we need to provide a token provider, where here we are doing a connection with intro ID using the Azure default credential through the ai.azure website that we connect to our Foundry with. Then we do actually the connection when we prepare the different variable. We do the connection with the OpenAI providing the endpoint and the token. Next, well, what we are going to do here, we have the completion API. So we are going to call that method completion chat, client chat completion create, and we are going to put within it, inside it, the model, which is the model that we have selected, plus the message. They're going to have two information: the role, it's a user, and the content, which will be our prompt, right? And finally, we're going to print out the result, which is the answer of the recipe, for example. So next thing here we are going to do right now, we're going to focus more into the image generation or generative AI models that help us to create really new images. So let's go back to the Discover, and there we are going to search out what we are looking for. So first thing, we are going to the collection, focus only the collection directory from Azure. But if you are interested in other things, you can search out, yes, also other things. And then we have the inference task. So you can see here a long list. And here we are focusing into really image generation. So we're going to look into text to image. You can see also there is also image to image, image to something else. Here we are focusing into text, really text to image. So once we select the text to image, we can see here that we have kind of a selected list based on whatever we were interested in. And we can start like discovering these different models. So let's start with this Flex 2 Pro, looking at it. So I can see the available regions. There's the different available regions in there. I can select, or preferably I can select the region that is most closer to me and that I'm interested in. Depends to what region that I prefer to work in. And we can see for each region that it gives you an idea of how much you can do. So here I'm selecting France Central. I'm creating a new project. I can provide the project name. I can see here the Foundry resource, the subscription, resource group. Once it's ready, so we can try out with the prompt. So you can try out with the prompt, asking what I want to generate. I'm going to provide me whatever I want to generate. So I see here I'm using Flex 2 Pro. I can configure the parameter, which is here the size of the image that is going to come to me. I can select from the list of models if I have difference. I can see here details about this model, last modified, model name, all these things. I can also, in the monitoring section, I can monitor it, see how much I work on it, and I can evaluate it. So let's start with a simple prompt. I'm going to say, I want to create an image of a chef preparing a meal, and let's see what it's going to create for me. And here it is. That was fast and quick. And actually, it's an image I can start definitely using it in my website, for example. I can see here a picture, the chef is cooking, and so on. And also have like, if I want to call it with REST API, I have also here the cur call. I can configure also the authentication and so on. Let's now look into another model. So I'm going to the Discover back also. I'm going to the models. I'm going to focus on collection, again, directed from Azure. Inference task, I'm going back also to text to image. And this time, I'm going to select different model. Let's go for Flex 1 Context Pro. So here's the model is ready. You can see that I have the two models. This is the previous image. I'm going to clear everything that was already deployed. I'm going to pass out the same prompt and see the image that is going to be generated. So here's we have another image that was created. I can see here chef working on something else to prepare a meal. If I look into the code, So I can see here the code part. I can also definitely configure the language and choose another type of language, depends to what I prefer. I can also focus on SDK, focus on authentication. There's something I have seen also previously in other solutions. So you can see here for the import, I'm going to import the base 64, and we are going to import the OpenAI library, and then we grab the endpoint. We grab the deployment name, which is going to be the model name, the API key, since we are using here API key and not intra. We do the connection, so we have base URL endpoint, the API key part, and then we can see here the client image generate to generate the image with the information which is going to be the model, the prompt, and the size that we expect to have it getting from the model. And finally, well, what we are going to do, we're going to actually show the image. We're going to give back the image and give you the output is going to be the image. I'm going to write the output, which is the image that we are generating in here. All right, so also let's get interested into a little bit something different in here and focus on other things, which is basically generating videos. So let's go to direct from Azure, and here the inference task will be a little bit different. I'm going to rather focus into kind of generating videos or getting a video to generate. So here's I'm going to search in video generation, perfect. When you select like from Azure video generation, you get the list of models that are available. Let's try out the Sora 2. I'm going to deploy it, test it. And by the time you will be watching the video, you may have other types also of models available. You can try them out. And now I'm going to ask it to create me a video of chef busy in kitchen and set the duration. So you can see like 4 seconds or more, and also either like a video 16:9 or 9:16, maybe depends. Do you want it to put it on social media maybe, or you want like to watch it and include it in a normal video that we could watch. So I'm going to put the video generation. I already speed up this part a little bit of the video because it takes a little bit of time to generate a video. Now we are going to, actually the video is ready. I'm going to try out to watch it. So I'm going to download it and show it to you. So here's the video as you can see it. I'm going to play it for you.
So someone's almost there. Give me 2 minutes on the pass, yeah?
So amazing for 4 seconds video. That's actually pretty good. We have the audio, we have the chef talking. It feels like so natural, like a real video recorded. Also, the part of the code you can like here get the URL call with the REST API, so you can just copy it, include it in your application with a normal REST API call with a post here call calling for the Foundry endpoint and asking from the prompt to generate whatever video you want to generate using the right model with the right sizing, and provided also the number of seconds that interest you. In this case, it's 4 seconds. I can also change these things, reconfigure, work on other things, generate image from image. And also here you can see the details that we have related to the model, what is the current situation, who created. You can also monitor it, have information about estimated cost. You can also do some evaluation of this model. So you can work pretty well with this also video generation model. So that's it for this demo. I hope that you enjoy it. Let's get back to class. In this session, we discussed how multimodal AI combines text and images to understand inputs and generate responses. While Azure's Foundry model catalog enables developers to easily select and use model for tasks like image and video generation based on quality, cost, and purpose. Remember that all these materials is available for free on the Learning Path, and you can find the full Learning Path at the Microsoft Learn platform. This concludes our session. Thanks for joining us for this session. To continue your learning, we encourage you to watch other videos in this course or search out your next favorite topic on Microsoft Learn at aka.ms/learn. Happy learning!